was making this video. Cause I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm just scared of everything. I'm just stubborn.
I don't wanna see you grow. It's my fault. I couldn't stay away for long. It's my fault. I couldn't. I wonder what it would be like to not give a fuck. But every time I try, it's like giving up. I'm giving in to us. And now my chest is a lump, and your colors in my guts. Everything that I trust, I took way too many. Fuck, I gotta pop to fill it up. I bet he never held you up. I bet you let him fuck you up. And when your pops say I'm a chump, I bet you never keep a buck. I'm fucked up, hope you hear me, love. I hope you hear me, love. I hope you hear me, love. But to you it's not enough. Hope you have me enough. I hope you hear me, love. I hope you hear me, love. I hope you hear me, love.
Okay, so I guess I'll just start this out by... Fuck, I don't even know. I'll start off by saying that most of this film project, whatever you want to call it, documentary, I don't know what you want to call it, most of it is unscripted. There's basically one paragraph that I'm staring at right now that is scripted, and after that it's just, I would much rather be raw than scripted and just whatever comes to my mind. I don't believe by any means that I'm special. I don't think a lot of people give a shit about what I'm going to say or what my story is or any sort of background like that, but it would mean a lot to me if I were able to reach out to more people that could relate to how I feel. David James is my real name. It's my first and my middle name. I was born 3:53 a.m. at Vassar Brothers Hospital on September 6th, 1995. I'm 23 years old. I've had anxiety since I was 6. It might even been before that, but I just remember at 6 years old, I had like my first conscious thought.
I'm very tired today. I've been moving. And I never want to go back to this shit ever again when this is over. That's all I'm gonna say.
I daydreamed a lot. My teachers hated it. I loved it because I loved being in my like imagination and just always like looking. I was the kid that looked out the window. I would be looking out the window and they would call on me to answer a question, and I wouldn't know what the hell, like I wouldn't know what the fuck to say. I'd just be like, okay. If you were to tell me that my life would be like this 5 years ago, I wouldn't have believed a word you said. From the compulsive habits, the constant anxiety, and the impulsive nature, and the thousands of panic attacks I would go through, I just wouldn't believe a word you said. If you told me 2 years ago, I probably would have believed it to be a possibility, but something I wouldn't allow to happen. Yet here I am, locked in a loop of endless thoughts that mentally and physically drain every part of me every single day. I feel lost, yet I appreciate at the same time. I know where I want to go and where I'm heading, and who I want to be, yet I can't reach it. I've forgotten normalcy, but because of this, I can feel much more than I ever could have imagined. I have lived more than most without even leaving my room. And that's the only scripted part of this video. What I mean by that is panic attacks. I believe I had my first one when I was younger. I don't really remember much of it, but I do remember panicking. I just remember crying, and my parents had to come up and were like, you know, trying to comfort me. They didn't know what the hell was going on. I believe I was like, I don't know, 8 years old, 7 or 8 years old, maybe 8. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I think I was on the toilet. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure I was on the toilet. And there was a few other times like where I had panic attacks, but they weren't like full-blown panic attacks, but it was like really, it was bad enough to terrify you, to traumatize a child. I remember the first day that I felt depression, but that's not what this film is about, because depression is something that I've gone through and I just don't even want to dive into it. It's just something that I haven't lived through depression my entire life, so I don't want to speak on it because I almost don't have a right to, in a sense, to speak on it in such detail.
Yo, what the fuck? Boy, better pop out. He better pop out, like.
Fresh tuck and roll.
That's how it's done, bitch. Smells like cow shit. The cow manure traces. I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Oh shit. There's no way you can set it perfectly up.
Let me try it. Oh, bro.
No, do not hit
Do overhand. Why not?
Yo, baby, get this back, bro.
Yo, if there was one thing you could change about yourself, bro, what would it be?
Everything. This tree be like mad sturdy. These weren't here when we had the house. We grew these. They're massive now. They're gigantic. Right in the rib, bro. I'm almost at the top of it. I'm trying to jump from here and see what happens. I'm back, guys.
It's trash. You'll never be Jeter, bro. You'll never be Jeter. Pussy! La pineapple.
Good check. Google it.
Nah, shut up.
Probably right. You're a scumbag.
So I believe when I was 14 years old, I had my first spurt of panic attacks where it was just panic attack after panic attack. I switched from a private school to a public school in high school. In 9th grade, I just remember I don't want to say bullied, but I was like picked on because I was the quiet new kid in the front row, and people would throw shit at me, and you know, and I would just have to sit there and pretend like it didn't hit me and just pretend like I didn't feel it, and I would just listen to them giggle and laugh and like at the back of the classroom. But that's just kids. But at the time, it fucks with you. Later on that year, these people got to actually know me, and they love me, and now if they see me, they're like, oh, hey, whatever, like, you know, it's just what kids do. And now, being a bit older now at 23, as opposed to being 14, I kind of get that more, where I'm like, all right, well, it's just kids being kids, but you don't know that at that age. I remember, I think my first panic attack was 3rd period. Once I had the first one, then it just started to go on and on and on, and it was only like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th period that I would have it. Every single day. It was every day. It was just a matter of which period was it gonna happen in. And I went to school every day doing this, and I would wake up just absolutely like I did not want to go to school. Like, it was horrible. It was absolutely awful. A panic attack is the closest thing that comes to death, it feels like. It feels like, I don't even know how to explain it. It is this overwhelming feeling of fear and just absolute impatience. It's like this, I don't even know how to put it into words. There's no real way to explain it unless you feel it, and no one will ever understand what a panic attack feels like until you actually have one. Last year, March 10th, I had the worst panic attack of my life, and I had panic attacks before that. I would continuously have panic attacks. I had them at work, my job. It kept me from doing things in my job. I ended up having the worst panic attack of my life at 22 years old. My anxiety is branching out into different avenues now. It's branching out into different things and different thoughts, and it's just like making my brain just go all over the place all the time.
far.
You put that shit. You put that.
Stop. Oh, that shit hot.
Oh, it's getting lit in there, bro. Yo, it's getting lit in there.
Bro, we really should have like a hose
Fire
on
in
the
a
standby.
No.
Sorry, bro. Yo,
Did you see that?
bro, put this shit is.
I didn't do much.
Why does this feel like more opened up? Maybe I'm looking at it. So my insecurities, like I said, from being somewhat picked on in high school and up through kindergarten, up into 8th grade, there was always, in private school, it was like you had one class and you were with that class throughout the entire day, throughout 8 grades. From the time you were 5 to the time that you were 13, you were with one class of like 28 to 30 people.
Serves you right, you're a dirtbag.
But I was made to feel stupid a lot of the times in that school by the teachers and a lot by the students. A lot of the students called me like retarded and all this stuff. And at the time, it's like you don't really want to hear that as a kid. You just are like, well, I'm smart, I just don't apply myself. But you can't explain that to a fucking 10-year-old or 11-year-old. They're gonna be like, no, you're an idiot. Like, no, you're stupid. Like, you got a fucking 30, you're stupid. Like, no, motherfucker, I got a 30 because I didn't apply myself. If I applied myself, I would have got a fucking 110 and blew your bitch ass out the fucking water. So what the fuck is good? But yeah, and then I just had to deal with just normal things that everyone always deals with, but it's all on how you perceive it. So my perception was way off when I went through normal things that everyone goes through, like talking to girls and all this stuff. And it always seemed like I was picked second. When it came to girls that I liked, I was picked second. And the one time that I was finally picked first, it was wonderful. And I'm not even gonna go into that. All the other times where I was picked second, everything, I was like, oh, what's wrong with me? Well, yada yada. And I just never had the perception or the mindset to say, well, you know, I'm not gonna be attractive to everybody. A lot of people just liked my company. So what did I do? I became insecure and I became cocky. It wasn't real confidence. It was just a complete facade of confidence. It was horrible. Every girl that I talked to during that time, I just kind of talked to them for like a little bit just to reassure, like, yeah, I'm good looking. And then I would just stop talking to them. And then when anxiety and depression came into play, even more so. And when depression came into play at 18, which again, I won't speak in detail, when it came into play at 18, it humbled me a lot. Having my heart broken humbled me a lot, made me very insecure, made me think differently. And again, I did the same thing, became cocky. I gotta get hot. So I went to the gym, I got fucking ripped, and I was like 20 to like 21. Then anxiety came in and pretty much like wiped all that away. I'm now like so skinny. It's not too good right now, but we're working on it. But yeah, I did like the same routine of like insecurity bullshit. And then after that, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And anxiety again humbled me, made me more like, okay, chill the fuck out. Like, you need to really work on yourself and not feel that you can't be feeling this insecurity all the time. And this is like your only way of dealing with it is just doing things to please other people. I stopped finally and started doing things for myself. And the first thing I did was I started doing music. Music for me was really easy because I said to myself, I can do this from home without anybody. Like, I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody. And my friend Tyler, who also is known, he's also known as Griswold. At the time, he's like, you should do music, man. You should do it. Like, you know, we should start a duo. And we did. We were going to do a duo. It was going to be Roy G. Biv. Him being Roy G, me being Biv. And at the time, I was like, yes, let's do it. And then the more I got into it, the more I realized that I'm a loner. I can't work with other people. It's very hard for me to do that because of the way I am. I need control. I need control over, like, everything. I'm a control freak. But he completely understood that. But he said, please keep the name Biv. He's like, keep it. It fits you. And I was like, okay, like, I'll keep it. And I didn't really think, I didn't think it fit me at the time. And then as it went on, I was like, this could be my actual name. Like, I could legally change my name to Biv and it would be perfectly fine. And then I recorded my first song. And it was, of course, about my ex-girlfriend. My God, was it bad. It was just bad. Like, it wasn't like, it was just terribly recorded. Like, it had, like, emotion, but it just was, like, not, I don't know. Like, it was pretty raw. Like, when I listen to it now, I'm like, okay, that was pretty raw. But, like, the recording was just terrible. And then after that, I started making other shit, and I started to rap.
Been a savage since the day I motherfucking spoke. Won't keep on this shit, smoking tar until I fucking choke.
That was terrible. That shit was awful. Like, it was so fucking bad. I started doing cover songs with Van, and he's like my best friend. So, like, I was like, let's do albums of cover songs. Cause we did, like, some covers and stuff.
What's like a good French name?
Pierre.
Pierre.
Jacques.
Ringo and Pierre. Not Ringo. That's like
Jacques.
No, Jacques and Pierre, the tea kettle and the candle from fucking
No, that's the only French names I thought of.
It sounded like you had it. Yeah, like first try.
And then I did my first ever, like, album where I was like, you know, I actually put, like, some thought into it. And, like, I put a bunch of songs together and just was like, okay, boom. The only person that has that album besides me is Badger. This is when I met Badger. Badger, I met in 2016. And he was the first person that was local to give me the confidence and the inspiration to realize that I could do better, that I had potential, but it needed work.
But that wouldn't, like, weird you out if you just wake up and she's, like, right there on you, like, she's not gonna do anything. You wake up from a deep ass sleep and she's just, like, right there. She's poisoned? No.
You can't have poison snakes. You can't even have, you're not even allowed to have python. Is that a python? Yeah. Ball python.
911, hello?
Griswold, Tyler, had also done the same thing for me. It was only a matter of time I actually started listening to them and started taking their advice. And that's when my music started to change and I started to make better music because I was actually challenging myself and doing different things and listening to their input. I started dropping all these albums. I dropped Medusa, which had like 26 tracks. It was a little bit better, you know, starting to get better. And then I dropped Prejudice. That was a bit better, you know, getting there. And then I dropped Autumn with Van, and it was an actual album where I produced like every single track. It was every single track I produced, and it was like my own sound. It was something like really experimental for me. And then I just kind of took that and ran with it. That was my sound. I was like, I need to build on this. And then I started building and building and building.
Alright, whatever. Their fucking vocalist he's lit. You already fucking...
You were at the laundromat, right?
What do you think about this house? What do you think about the people that are gonna live here?
I don't got much to say about them.
Do you know who they are?
Every one of them.
Why are you here?
I hear a dog. Never lived them.
What are you doing here? You're just gonna leave it empty just like this? What do you think about that, Van?
Someone here?
No, that's ice.
Van looks like he belongs in this house.
I was born here.
Where about?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Then I met, over the winter of 2017, I believe it was February, I met Brevin Kim. They have been like big brothers to me. We made so many songs together. Like I feel like we've made like just a shit ton. They were the most genuine people I had met. And I was very closed. And Cal and Brent have been there for me throughout a lot of shit times, and they're still there for me, and they're always understanding. And that's something that you rarely find in the music industry, and you rarely find it just at all in general. Pretty much everything that they have in front of them, they've worked for. They've been through a lot together. And to see them in this place that they are now, I'm very happy for them. And I'll always support them, like no matter what, because they've always supported me. I think a lot of people ask me, like what inspires me to make music. And at first I was inspired by heartbreak and losing my first love, pretty much. And I was inspired by that a lot. And then I was inspired by my depression and my anxiety. And now I'm just really inspired more so by my anxiety. And I'm just inspired by experiences that I have and all those different things. And I'm inspired by my friends that continuously support me. And, you know, they don't have to. They really don't have to, but they do.
Take a look at all the time that it's not like you got back to me on time, yeah. No, it's the wrong time, yeah. It's been a long time, yeah. Just pick up the pieces we left on the floor now. It's not for you, no, it's all not for me. It's not for me. If it's the size, won't you see my side? I've had your time. Let's play with mine. Do it all night. Told you that you had your time. You should have been mine. I'll make you cry. You'll make me fly.
If I were given the chance to take it all back, because music has not helped my mental health at all, but if I were given the chance to take it all back, I wouldn't. I can't really be any more grateful for what I've experienced because it's taught me so many things. To all my supporters that are always showing me love and really do care about me as a person, I don't think you realize how much that affects me and how grateful I am. And I know I don't answer messages all the time. I try to, but it takes a lot of energy. I enjoy talking to all of you. I try to help as much as I can. I can't express how much I love all of you and how much you give me an even greater purpose to continue music and to always strive to do better in music. So here's my little, here's my tea kettle right here. We got water in here. It's already steaming. I don't even know if you can see it. You know? Yeah, I mean, you can barely see that, but, you know, shit. Let's gather our hot water here, shall we? It's a bit cold, so we're just gonna, you know, have that heater there. It's a very barbaric way of shooting this shit. I don't really know, you know, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different ways I can go about doing this. But right now, I mean, we're just gonna bring in, we have the sample in here. We have to bring in, obviously, the auto-tune, because auto-tune saves my life. And that's just that. That's just, it is what it is. It's currently 10:02 a.m. I keep looking out the window because I want to make sure my dad isn't coming home. My dad doesn't really care if I'm recording music. My mom definitely doesn't, but it's just embarrassing if someone were to like walk in. Like if my dad were like to just walk in and I'm sitting here like all in the mood and I'm just singing, and it would just be embarrassing. I'd rather get walked in. I'd rather them walk in on me jerking off, honestly. Like I'd much rather have that happen.
So fucking good. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna order something.
What do you order? Yo, say hi to the camera too.
Hi, can I get a grande Java chip frappuccino, please? Thank you. Sorry, you were saying.
This might be the only morning that I do this, so. Oh. I'm dizzy as fuck. I'm a really busy body. As for my cereal and food, I have a white comforters. I put this cardigan on every day. It's for hot water. My parents are still sleeping, so not really sure if it's supposed to be nice out today, but hopefully it is. If not, so be it. Now these are water bottles to drink, and then we grab another 2 for the hot water as well. 1 oats and honey. These are fucking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Amazing. Take a lemon and squirt this in our eye. Enough with that. I'll eat my cereal and my granola bar, and I'll drink this. It's my morning routine, so that's just what I'm gonna show. I'm gonna go and eat now and relax. So we just get a bowl for that and a mug for the hot water, and that's pretty much it.
Your music literally makes me feel less alone. And for the years that I've listened to your music, it's really been an emotional sound. Like there's no other music that sounds as emotional as yours. The emotion that you put into your music, the effort that you put into your music, it's unmatched. It's really unmatched.
I'm so grateful I came across your music. Your music has made me feel less isolated ever since my mother passed, and the fact that you're so strong from the inside out. I really can't express the way that your music makes me feel. Honestly, man, your music is just amazing.
Hi, brother. I definitely like all of your songs, but my favorites are All We Could Know with Checks and Call. I like them because of, I just like them. And I like your music because it sounds great. All of your songs sound great. There are aggressive ones such as Bipolar Bear, and calm ones such as Sunday. But all of them are absolutely great. And I'm not inspired only by Beef. I'm also inspired by David James. David James is a person who is very kind, who communicates with his community, his listeners. He loves all of his listeners, and he always gives love to everyone. And that's all. До свидания, David James.
You know this feeling when everybody is afraid of something? Maybe there are invisible walls that stop us. But your music inspires us to do the best, not to feel loneliness time to time. And it's not only about your music. You're a very kind person who helps us in different ways. Just thank you for everything you do, and stay as cool as you are. We really appreciate it.
Even though I've recently pretty much listened to your entire discography like 5 times over, one song has always stood out to me, even before then, and that was Missed Me. Everything about the song is just perfect. The rawness of it, the lyrics, everything about it just speaks to me, and it's the song that I go to whenever I'm feeling down and I just need something. I just go to that song. And it always helps, no matter what situation I'm in.
It just inspires me as an artist myself to change out what I'm doing, to try experimenting with different sounds. Because most people would label their stuff as experimental, but they're not really doing too much. You as an artist, I love your work and continue doing it, bro. Like, I hope you never give up. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I'll tell you, your shit is amazing.
All your music is art, bro, and that's why I like your inspiration in me.
Hello, Bill, and your music, I like your style. And that's amazing because I didn't hear the music like that you made. It's amazing.
Viv, all of your songs are amazing. Everything you put out is great. But if I have to choose a favourite, it would be I Wrote This For You. Because that's the first song I ever heard of yours. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, this dude, he's doing something right. And ever since then, I've listened to every song you put out. They're all amazing, bro.
Hi David, I like your music in everything. With love, Alex.
I want to say that I love your open mind and friendliness. I don't know how, but your music always coincides with my mood. Also, your music helps me to endure hard times. Love you.
The thing is with Biv, like, I can listen to his music every day, like every day, every week, on repeat, non-stop, because his music is so fucking beautiful.
Why I like your music? It's a good question. In the first, your vibe and music is showing opposition against all this dark world with cynical people, and I love you. Not only as performer, but also as person. Hello from Russia, love from Russia, man. We all support you.
Like, I was getting home because I was coming back from school, then he sent me a message that he wanted to put my voice in one of his songs. Like, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck?
First found my admiration for your work is when I found I'm So Sorry. For the longest time I felt isolated and paranoid about my surroundings and who I followed, I guess. For the longest time I didn't know whose words were genuine. Then I found the anguish and the pain I felt when I heard that song. And the songs would come after, I knew that you were a genuine person. That it's not something to be taken granted for. That doesn't mean that you haven't, done your fair share of bad shit in life, but nobody on this planet is perfect in any sense. We're all fucked up people in our own ways. I've learned that now. But it doesn't mean we can't grow and prosper from it. But when I found your work, you helped me not make it seem as if the world isn't so lonely as it once were. Outside of that, you have helped me in many ways that I can't really find the words for because I'm not this type of person. I've isolated myself and it's hard for me to find the words, but just know that you've stopped many bad things coming my way, and it truly means a lot that I found your work and that you put this out for people and let them know a peek into your world, essentially. I just want you to know that I would love to thank you in person because your work and your words and everything you do has meaning. And you deserve any fame, any recognition coming your way because you deserve it. That's just point blank period. You've worked for it and you earn it. I hope you have a good day, babe.